Crucifixion is a method of capital punishment in which the victim is tied or nailed to a large wooden beam or tree and left to hang. Crucifixion was not one of the capital punishments of the Jews. The Jews wanted Jesus to get a death that was way worse, way more humiliating than their law provided for. That's why they did not try him in their courts and sentence him according to their law, even though they said he blasphemed. And if found guilty of blasphemy under the Mosaic law, they would have had the right to stone him to death. What they did, however, is to report him to the Roman authorities and to say that he was creating sedition. He was stirring up the people against what it is would have been civil order. So that now became something that was an important issue for the occupying power. Whilst it is the Jews wickedly wanted to do that, it was also God's plan. So the wickedness of the Jews in deciding, hello, we want him to get a worse death than what our law allows, was fulfilling the purpose of God. It was always in the plan that he was supposed to die like this. At the end of the day, if you think of, for example, stoning to death, stoning to death would have disqualified the sacrifice. So the person is stripped naked, beaten, and then he's required to carry the crossbeam that he's to be crucified on. And he's carried through the most crowded street. And he would be required to carry along with the crossbeam the titulus. The titulus is the sign that proclaims the convict's name and the crime he was convicted for. So it means everybody should be able to see who you are and what you did. You will remember Jesus' titulus. Yes, it had on his name, Jesus of Nazareth. What was his crime? King of the Jews. Because remember what I said to you earlier. What he was crucified for was not blasphemy. He was crucified for sedition. He was crucified for what would be treason. Because what they now said to the Romans was, listen, he is declaring that he is king of the Jews. Now understand, if he says he is king of the Jews, it means that he is now saying, hello, this Roman Empire, they have no authority. I am the one in charge. Remember, Rome had put a king there, The king was named what? King Herod. So it means now, if he's saying, I am the king of the Jews, he's usurping the throne of the king that was placed there. Hello. Treason. Death. So he would go to that place of execution, and then the convict, if there was any remaining clothing, they would be stripped of the remaining clothing, and then they'd be nailed to the cross naked. Would first be nailed to the patibulum, the crossbeam, and then he or she, because women were crucified too, he or she would be hoisted off the ground with ropes to hang from the elevated patibulum while it was fastened to the stipes. So it would be hanging from it whilst they fasten it to the vertical beam. Next, the feet or ankles would be nailed to the upright stake, to the stipes. The titulus would also be fastened to the cross to notify onlookers of the person's name and crime as they hung on the cross, further maximizing the public impact. The aim of crucifixion was to ensure that others would not try, would not do what this person did. Which is why it was made to be such a significantly humiliating, vicious spectacle. Right? And so it is done to cause as many persons as possible to see it. And so the person was degraded. Right? They're stripped naked in front of the crowd, beaten naked in front of the crowd, made to walk naked, blooded, beaten up, carrying his own cross to be killed on along the most crowded streets possible, to a crucifixion place that would be most public. And he would have to take something at the titulus that says, this is my name and this is what I did. Because when everyone sees what this person did to end up like this, the idea is you are going to ensure you don't do that. It was a death that was particularly slow, excruciatingly painful, gruesome, humiliating, and public, using whatever means were most expedient for that goal. So catch this. Worse than the pain of the cross was the shame of the cross. Because the cross was far more than an instrument of capital punishment. It was a public symbol of indecency and social indignity. And that is why the Jews wanted Jesus to be crucified. He needed to be disgraced. He needed to be humiliated. He needed to be degraded. Because guess what? Here he is coming with this new righteousness, this new doctrine that's going against what they teach. And then he's looking on the leaders, the religious leaders, and calling them hypocrites, telling them that they're whitewashed sepulchres, full of corruption, only look good outside. And guess what was happening? These leaders, the high priests, the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, here's the issue. The issue they had was that they felt their power shifting. Because now there was a crowd following this man Jesus. For this man Jesus was healing and working major miracles. But he was teaching stuff that were contrary to what they were teaching and believing and had used to have their power over the Jews all this time. And so they had an issue. He needed to die, but he couldn't afford to die normal death. He needed to die, but it couldn't afford to be private. He needed to die, but it couldn't afford to be quick. He needed to die in such a way that all the people who were following him would decide, you know something, I need to disown him. That was the intention of the Jews. So we're not going to stone him. We're not going to behead him. That's too easy. That will not have the impact that we want. So let's give him to the Romans. Let's tell the Romans that he's committing treason. Because guess what? They knew that the capital punishment for treason in the Roman Empire was crucifixion.